podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the premier radio networks on Saturday, February 12th, 2022. This is episode 1867. Enjoy. If you would do me a favor, once a year we reach out to our audience and ask them to fill out our Twit listeners survey. It helps us better understand you, helps us sell advertising. We don't want to track you, so it's completely voluntary, but that information is very handy for us. It'll take about 15 minutes, maybe less. And again, completely voluntary, but it sure helps us. Go to twit.tv/survey22 to take it, and thanks in advance. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Ziprecruiter. According to research, 90% of employers plan to enhance their employee experience this year. And if you need to add more employees, there's Ziprecruiter. Ziprecruiter's technology finds qualified candidates for your job, and you can invite your top choices to apply. Try Ziprecruiter for free today at ziprecruiter.com/techguy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, Samsung Galaxy phones, and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number if you want to call and talk high tech with me. For the next 3 hours, that's what we do here. 888-827-5536. 3 hours in most jurisdictions. I think some jurisdictions it's shorter. I'll give you as many hours as I can. 8888 Ask Leo. Website techguylabs.com will take you to the podcast network's page, twit.tv, and you'll find all the episodes of the Tech Guy there. This is episode 1867. Yes, we started at 1, so that'll give you some idea how long this thing has been going on. If you go there after the show, it takes a little while. We'll get all links from the show, all the things I talk about up there. There's a transcript now, which is nice because you can search the transcript, find the section you're interested in. There's little time codes there. You can jump to it because we put audio and video there after the fact. Amazing. All of that free. No sign up, nothing. techguylabs.com. There is a cookie banner there. Sigh. Sigh. Somehow, the notion that cookies of any kind are a bad thing has percolated through the world and eventually became incorporated into law in the EU, the European Union. And that's why you see these cookie banners, is there's a law that says, well, if you're going to have cookies, you better ask permission. And this came up for me the other day because I run my personal website is what they call a static blog. It's a very simple, there's no blog engine behind it. It's just a bunch of HTML pages. There's some JavaScript. And yeah, it turns out there's some cookies. So I had to put up a little cookie announcement. And I said in a very snarky way on this cookie announcement, yeah, like every other site in the world, I have cookies. Get over it. And then there's just a button that says, I think learn more, which takes you to a completely anodyne site that says, here's what a cookie is, and hide. Cookies are used in a variety of ways. The reason I had to put a cookie up is because I have a setting on my site that can go light mode or dark mode. Some people like this site to be dark text on a light background, like a newspaper, black on white. And some people, especially more nowadays, like the dark mode. You've seen the dark mode, where it's a black screen with light text. It's kind of funny because that's how it's all started in computing, right? Green or gray text on a black screen. We've come back to that because it hurts your eyes if you don't go out at all. If you're sitting in a darkened room all the time, then you don't want a blazingly bright screen. And most people set their screens too bright anyway, it turns out. And it hurts. I understand, it hurts. Some devices now, like the iPhone, have a setting that says after sunset, before, when it's light out, go light mode. When it's dark out, go dark mode, whatever. Anyway, I have a setting that lets you choose. That seems to me the best thing. There's a little button in the upper right-hand corner, dark or light. Well, unless you want to set that every single time you come, and I guess we could do it that way, I set a cookie. I say, and it's on your site, on your home computer. So it's per computer. It's actually per browser. It says a little thing in there that says, for Leo.fm, this person likes dark mode. That's all. That's all. It's not gathering information on you or anything. But because that's a cookie, the European Union regulations require me to put that silly banner up, scaring people and annoying people. Because after all, let's face it, when you see that, you just say, okay, fine, right? I guess some people might go through the cookies. And so all a cookie is a save a setting to your hard drive. Where people got upset about cookies is another kind of cookie called third-party cookies. And that so the way cookies are set up, only the site that set the cookie, in my case, only Leo FM can even see that cookie, can read it. No one else can read it. But folks at Facebook and elsewhere have really messed it up for the rest of us because they figured out Google, oh, wow. If we have a cookie, like you log into Facebook, remember when you log into Facebook, you don't have to log in again and again. It remembers that you were there. It actually saves a cookie, a token, it calls it, that says, yeah, you're you, and just go on in and use Facebook. That's a convenience to you. But at the same time, Facebook sets cookies that identify you as you. That's the Leo cookie. And then, this was clever of them. They arranged with many other sites. You've seen it, the thumbs up like button. You see those on other sites, or log in with Facebook, or any variety of little logins or Facebook logos or things like that. And all of those belong to Facebook. So you see where I'm going here? The rules of cookies are only the originating site can read the cookie. Well, Facebook set the cookie, but it means that you go to another site with a Facebook like button, Facebook knows you're there because they see the like button, even if you don't click it. That code's coming from their site. So at the same time as they put the like button there, they can say, and by the way, who is this? So Facebook, and Facebook is notorious for this, even if you're not a member of Facebook, will collect information about you. Every time you visit a site with a Facebook like button on it, you're saying, hey, I'm here. This is me. That's the thing that people should be worried about. Privacy advocates are worried about, is this idea of tracking you around the web, even on other sites. I think if you think about it, the idea of a site can save settings like dark mode on your computer so that when you come back, it's dark mode, or your password so when you come back, you don't have to log in again. That's a convenience that isn't a privacy invasion. The privacy invasion comes from tracking you around to other sites. Unfortunately, this all got conflated together, and the EU decided all cookies are bad cookies, and now we have to put up with this really silly announcement. And I think it has the opposite effect, because I think it just kind of it immunizes you. You just, oh yeah, there it is again. Okay. I just wanted to visit the site. Of course, there are better ways to prevent cookies. For instance, the browser Firefox has a built-in little Facebook sandboxing thing that says, wherever you go, don't send a signal back to Facebook. The browser can do that. That's a better way to do it than making a law requiring a banner that makes no sense. Anyway, it's going to be interesting because now there's a new... nutrition labels are all the rage, right? That was actually a huge deal when the U.S. started requiring nutrition labels on packaging. And I think that's been valuable. We can look at the calories, the sodium, the fat. We can pay attention to that. Well, now there's a privacy nutrition label being proposed, and I think it's a great idea. Apple's going to do this. That shows you it looks just like a privacy label, and it tells you what stuff is going on, what stuff this site is collecting. I think this is a great idea, and I think some lawmakers now are looking at the idea of making this universal. So you could, whenever you go to a site, you could say at the bottom, there's always a privacy link now, by the way. That is another regulation. You got to have a privacy state policy and so forth and have a link to it. And that privacy link could have a privacy nutrition label that would be easy to read, standardized, everybody to understand what it is. I like that idea. That makes sense. That's better than do you want cookies? People, I think that's silly. Samsung had its event. It's a big event this week. 7 in the morning in my time, so I didn't get up. I made somebody else do it. Works for me. Jason, thank you. Jason Howell got up 7 a.m. He hosts our podcast about Android, all about Android. So yeah, that's fair. They announced the Samsung S22, S22. What is it? Plus and S22 Ultra. And, we give a lot of attention to Apple when they come out with new iPhones every September. I think we should give Samsung a little credit. Samsung stopped doing the Note, which was a very popular phone. When it first came out, I was a big Note fan. And I had my I had my giant Note phone, and people, it's little by today's standards, but people mocked me. What's that big phone you got there? Anybody with any sense has a smaller phone. For a while, smaller was better in phones. I mean, I'm talking 20 years ago. Maybe 25 years ago. Smaller was better. Now bigger's better, right? Samsung stopped making the Note, but now they've got the S22 Ultra, which is the same size, shape of the Note, and it has a stylus. It's the Note. They changed the name. That's all. So, little problem on Samsung's website. It took forever to order it. You couldn't get in. Finally did get one. I'll have it February 25th. There are some review units already out. We're starting to see reviews. Looks like a pretty nice phone. I'll give you my impressions once I've used it for a little bit. But I know there are a lot of you use Samsungs. And so I thought we should mention that. New Samsung phone looks pretty good if you're in the market for a new Samsung phone. If you have a recent, an S10 or later, I wouldn't worry about it. But, Mike B. still very happy with his S20, he says in our chat room. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. I am going to take your questions, your comments, your suggestions. Let's talk high tech when I come back. Don't forget, Scott Wilkinson has the week off because he's moving, so we'll have a lot more time. Scott's not here this week or next. Hooey. Hooah. The Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra will always be the Note 22 to me, says Android Central. Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's absolutely the case. It's a Note. I can't wait to get it because I've always loved the Note. No, it's silly. It's just a name. It is the Note. It's big. It's got a stylus. I think it's going to be really nice. Yeah, you can order now. The site is back up, thank goodness. They've restored the site. In fact, I ordered, because I couldn't get through to the Samsung site, I ordered it from Verizon, which wasn't as good a deal and required me to be a Verizon customer for a while, which I already am, but I'm going to use it with a Verizon SIM. So as soon as the Samsung site went back up that evening, I canceled my Verizon order and ordered it from Samsung, because there's a lot of they give you a lot of goodies. Oh yeah. Yeah, you do. Here's our telephone lady.
She stumped me with this one.
I never heard this one before. We're trying different. Every time we introduce Kim Sheffer, who answers the phone for the show, our phone angel, every time we introduce her, try to have a different phone song.
I feel like she had to dig deep for that one.
That's deep tracks.
Cuts,
Where'd
deep cuts.
Where'd you get that, Professor Laura? What is that? Who is that?
Two basements down, it's Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper.
basements down.
It's Alice Cooper. And that is where you live, 2 basements down. So it's perfect. It's perfect. How are you? Are you ready for the big game, the Superb Owl, tomorrow?
Sure, why not? An excuse to eat crappy food.
I have to work, so
I know. You're going to start
enjoy
early,
it.
though, right?
Yeah, we're going to try to start. I do a
possible.
podcast on Sunday afternoons.
You'll get to catch Mary J. Blige at halftime.
I think I might get home in time for the halftime show. We'll see. What time does the game start?
3:30.
Our time, 3:30. Pacific time.
I feel sorry for the East Coast people, kind of.
Because that's 6:30 their
It's
time?
6:30. That's rough. I mean, the game's going to go
dinner time.
till 9 or 10, you know?
That's okay.
Yeah, well,
That's okay.
People want Monday after Super Bowl off.
Oh, really? Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Super Bowl Sunday. I wonder if it's bigger than ever because of the pandemic or what. I think it is. Certainly more people watch the playoffs than ever before.
This year was exciting.
Yeah, and actually, I think the Super Bowl is going to be, as usual, a letdown after that.
Oh yeah, after the postseason or whatever you call it, championship games. The
NFC
Super Bowl is going to be
amazing. Yeah,
the only thing to
AFC.
watch will be the commercials and halftime show.
Commercials. Did you see the? Sorry,
That's funny.
The Echo commercial.
Yes,
I saw it. So they've been spewing it out in bits and pieces because it's a long commercial. It's that where it's many commercials. You can watch it all at once.
Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson.
Is that who that other
ScarJo.
guy is? He's the guy from Saturday Night Live.
That's her husband.
Oh, I thought it was just some guy.
They're married.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good because they were in bed together, so that's a good thing. It's very funny. The first time I saw it, I said, boy, that actress looks a lot like Scarlett Johansson.
It is.
But it is.
It is, yeah. I
And
mean,
once
how
you
he
see-
got her, I don't know, but he is funny. So I give
Once
him.
you see them all together, it's actually a really... The premise is, and they've always
Order
had...
breath mints.
They've always had great Super Bowl ads, Amazon Echo, and this one, and they've always had celebrities. And this one, the premise is, what if Echo could read your mind?
Yep.
Not a good thing. It
No.
turns out.
Not a good thing.
Well, I won't spoil it because I think people might want to see
Well,
it
I
tomorrow.
just gave a bit of a spoiler.
Yeah, but nobody knows that. Yeah. Who should I talk to first? Here?
So you talk high tech. Jamie wants to talk low tech. I love this question because we're in radio. So
Low tech.
is radio going to go away someday? Jamie in
Just
Tampa,
sent
Florida.
a chill down my spine.
I know. I think it's a great question.
Thanks, Kim. I appreciate it. Hi, Jamie. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leah, how are you?
I'm well. What's up?
Well, I live in Tampa, Florida. I am a radio freak. I've been a radio freak ever since I was about 5 years old. And even though, we got all the Pandoras and the Apple Music of the world, I still get pretty much most of my music off the radio. And I keep hearing, radio is dying. Radio is going to be dead in 10 years or 5 years, however much it is. Do you think radio is going to go away soon? And if it's not going to go away, why not? Will there no longer be a need for the traditional receivers that we all that some of us still use?
Right.
People keep telling me radio is going to die in X amount of years anyway.
Roughly how old are you, Jamie?
I'm 29, almost 30.
You're a youngster. So that's really encouraging because the real question is not so much is radio going to go away, but are people your age going to continue to listen to it? So the fact that you like it is really good. In history, technology, when new technologies, especially media technologies, come along, they generally don't. They may become more important then, but they don't replace their predecessor. So there was some concern when movies came out that would hurt radio. Didn't. That when newspapers came out, that would hurt radio, or radio would hurt newspapers, or TV would hurt radio, or and on and on and on. The internet would kill TV and newspapers. So certainly the internet has not helped newspapers and magazines. They're all kind of suffering, but they survive in a new form. And I think that that's probably what's going to happen with radio. I can't think of a time. Even cars didn't kill buggies. There's still buggies. There are not a lot of them, but they have specialized uses. Here's the thing that, from my point of view, look, I like you. I love radio. I've been doing it for 46 years. It's my not only my livelihood, it's my lifeblood. I love it. But what I thought about it is what I don't love necessarily is having a transmitter in a tower, a radio station. What I love is audio. A person talking to you. And that goes for music too, right? A person, you probably listen to the radio because you're going to hear music you don't have on your streaming services, right? Or maybe you like the DJs who are announcing the songs or having fun in the morning and that kind of thing. And I think that's what we've learned from podcasts is it's really, in fact, the company that owns this show, iHeartMedia, no longer calls itself a radio company. They're the number one audio company in the world. Audio. So I think we'll always have audio because there's plenty of times we can't watch TV when we're driving, when we're walking the dog. But there's time, but we still want audio entertainment. So I think podcasting has proven that has a long, long life ahead of it. Terrestrial radio, yeah, I don't see that going away. I don't know. I have to look. I think audiences are down. So, it's just like buggies. That's the worst case scenario, right? There'll be some Amish people who will listen to the radio, but nobody else. But I don't think it ever goes away. And so I think the best thing to keep in mind is that you love audio programming, however it happens. Nice thing about radio, live, local, that's unique. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So I feel like that's a really good question. History shows us these things don't go away, even when there are newer technologies. They find new places. Why do you listen to the radio, though? I'm curious, James.
Well, I listen to it for the DJs that I've known for years.
Yeah. The people.
I listen. Yeah. Another reason I listen to it, Leo. It's free. Yeah, I'm not.
It's free. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not paying for a bunch of streaming apps like I would for Apple Music or Pandora. It's portable. I can take it with me. I can be. I live in Tampa, Florida, and we don't get you on the radio over here. But I can listen. But I can go on your website and pull up the station. I listen to.
Right.
All your 1 trillion stations that carry your program.
So you're not listening to the radio in a way. When you're listening to this show, you're listening to it over the internet. But it's still radio. It's audio content, right? So I don't think that's going to go away. And in fact, I think podcasts are really where radio is headed. So it doesn't really matter to us how we get it. It's lovely to have something free and maybe not need internet to get it. That's really cool. Dr. Mom says she thinks the FCC will auction off the frequencies. I don't see that. First of all, the AM and FM band are tiny compared to the band frequencies they're auctioning off. They're tiny. There's not a huge demand for that spectrum. Well, I guess there would be, but it's not a big swath of spectrum. So I don't think radio. I don't think they'll ever sell off that frequency. I think there will always be radio. It may be more specialized. It's neat to see what people are doing with low power FM. Although the FCC has kind of dropped the ball on that a little bit, but people have little radio stations.
My first job was at a low-powered FM station. I was the weather reporter for a low-powered FM station.
Isn't that great? But see, that's hyper local. It's super local, right?
Yeah, it was a tiny R&B station I worked at, and I was Jamie T in the afternoons.
That's awesome.
First letter of my last name. And I think another reason I live in Florida, and our weather here in Florida is very unpredictable. So you don't know when your power is going to go off, or your internet's going to get knocked out. And so it's good to have a radio around, because now unless you live somewhere where the power goes out every single day or whatever, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they told me streaming isn't replacing radio. It's just telling listeners, hey, if you want to hear this particular radio station, here's another way to hear it.
Yeah. That's the thing. If you say radio, you say transmitters and antennas. I guess that could be. I don't think even that's going away. But it doesn't matter from your point of view as long as you can hear that content. So the idea of somebody playing music or somebody talking to you is actually bigger than ever. There were a limited number of radio stations. There's millions of podcasts now. There's millions of streaming music stations. So it's better than ever. It's bigger than ever. As long as you don't say, well, radio requires a transmitter. It has to come through.
That's what we thought.
Yeah,
that's what we thought years and years and years ago. And then heck, I was going to tell you this. I'm listening to your show right now on my ALEXA speaker. I'm listening to your KFI affiliate.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
I used to have to Google what stations you were on, but now I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, KFI's will always be on KFI, I think, because thanks to the auspices of their fabulous program director.
Until they get rid of you.
Yeah.
Until they get rid of you.
Until I'm gone forever, yeah. Hey, Jamie, a pleasure talking to you. It's a great question, and I love radio, too. I'm with you right there.
All right, friend, you take care, and God bless. And
God bless. All right. I'll let you have that one. I don't have a dog in that hunt anymore. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, yes, on the radio and on the internet and everywhere else in between. Good to have you. Mike Heiss, who's in our chat room, makes a really excellent point. Just like amateur radio, commercial broadcasting has a huge, important role to play in emergencies. You make a really good point, Mike. When the electricity's out or, the internet is out and there's no other way to get information, there's a hurricane or a tornado or an earthquake, radio's here, Radio's a good, in fact, I've always had, and I recommend everybody have, a portable hand-cranked radio or battery-powered radio that you can use in a case like that. Because the radio stations will stay on, and they will give you emergency information that's very valuable. That by itself is a reason that radio will continue forever, right? That's a very important point. Thank you, Mike. No Scott Wilkinson this hour. Scott will be gone for a couple of weeks as he makes a move from the Southland to the central coast of California, Santa Cruz. But we'll get him on in a couple of weeks. I know this is the worst time to lose Scott Wilkinson because tomorrow's the Super Bowl and a lot of people going out to buy TVs for the Super Bowl. But we know Scott, actually, I should get Mike on. Mike tests a lot of TVs as well. He likes the LGs, the OLEDs. I do too. Sony's, he loves them. Samsung. It's really hard to go wrong these days with a TV. For budget TVs, Vizio's still a good one, and even less expensive, 2 upstart Chinese models that are really trying to get in the market, Hisense and TCL, also make excellent TVs. And if you're going out to get a TV to watch the big game, get the biggest one you can afford. 75 inches wouldn't be too big. Trust me, it's awesome. And get 4K and get HDR. They'll come together. I don't care about smart TVs. You're going to get a smart TV. I wish we could eliminate that. In fact, my advice is never connect that smart TV to the internet. Use a Roku or an Apple TV or some other device with better privacy and better, frankly, software and hardware instead of that smart TV. But you know what? If you don't want to buy another device and you got a Netflix built into your TCL, go ahead, or your Roku built into your TCL, go ahead and use it. It's okay. It's okay. Just be aware that as soon as you connect that TV to the internet, it's phoning home saying, we got one. I got a live one. Would you like to know what he's watching? 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Jerry on the line from Hatfield, PA. Hello, Jerry. Good to talk to you again.
Leo, haven't talked to you in a while.
It's been a long time. I'm glad to know you're out there still working hard.
Leo, have you had any success retrieving your cryptocurrency?
No, I haven't really even tried. So I should fill people in on this. Back when Bitcoin first started, kind of more because I was kind of interested in it than anything else, I set up what they call a Bitcoin wallet, a self-hosted wallet. I didn't do it on an exchange. In fact, it's a good thing. If I'd put it on Mt. Gox, for instance, which was very popular at the time, I would have lost everything. But I set up my own wallet. And then for a while, I put my Bitcoin ID, it's a long number that's unique to you, up on the website and said if you want to make a donation. And people were nice. They were generous. And that wallet accumulated over time 7.85 Bitcoin, which, in the early days was worth about $1.50. It's worth a little more now. It was worth a lot more a few months ago when Bitcoin hit $60,000 a Bitcoin. That's almost $500,000. Yeah. What is BTC now? Is it like down to 40?
I don't know, but Leo, I ran across a YouTube video the other day.
Yeah, 42.
This hacker engineer cracked a Bitcoin wallet and got $2 billion for the owner.
Nice. How much of it did he keep?
I don't know, but his name is Joe Grand, and he's on YouTube.
I will watch it. Thank you. Thank you, Jerry. Yeah.
I'm extending a lifeline to you.
Well, yeah, my wife would like it. Let's see. It's almost 8 Bitcoin. That's $320,000. Yeah, it'd probably be worth trying to get. I'll tell you my philosophy on this, Jerry. First of all, the reason I can't get the Bitcoin out is because I wisely, I thought, password protected that wallet. The wallet isn't very big. It's really just that long private key. So Bitcoin uses that public-private key cryptography we've talked about before, where you can tell everybody what your private key is. That's that long Bitcoin address that I put up on the website. I actually put a QR code to make it easy. And then you have a private key, which no one is to know, that unlocks the wallet and lets you transfer Bitcoin out of it. And I guess in this case, most crucially, transfer Bitcoin to somewhere like, I don't know, Coinbase, and let them give you dollars for it. Because that's really, I mean, if I were going to do that, if I could unlock it, that's probably what I would do. So if you just let that wallet fly around, anybody who has it, the wallet is simply your private key. That's all it really is. And so if I were to let that out in the public, somebody could just say, well, that's mine, I got it, and that's it. There's no recourse. So the best thing to do if you're going to do that is protect. First of all, protect it. Don't let it get out. Keep it close to your vest, and protect it with a long, strong password, which I did. Unfortunately, I did not record the password, which is puzzling to me because even then I was using LastPass. I mean, I'm not sure why I didn't. My guess is I didn't take it seriously, and so I used some throwaway password, probably a variation of throwaway passwords I've used for years on sites I don't care about. And so it's just a matter of figuring out what that is. Now, this hacker guy, nice, good, great. My son, briefly, my son Henry said, let me crack your wallet. I said, I'll give you a whole Bitcoin at $42,000 at today's prices if you can crack it. He never did. What he wanted to do was send it off to some guys, a hacker consortium that says, we'll crack it for you for 10%. I said, dude, and this was, at the time, it was only worth $250,000. I said, dude, I am not going to send $250,000 to some guy thinking that he might take 10% and give the rest back. Would you do that? That's crazy. He said, well, I read about him in the Wall Street Journal. I said, I don't care. Please do not give my Bitcoin wallet to some hackers. And I think it would be probably the same thing. If you have nice, he gave somebody back their $2 billion. Nice. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure I'm going to trust some guy to hack it. Now, if I could hack it, maybe. On the other hand, I don't care. Because if I had been able to get in that wallet, I would have sold it a long time ago. Back when Bitcoin was $1,000, I would have said, I got me $7,800. I'm rich. And it would be gone anyway. So I think of this more as a long-term hold enforced by a forgotten password. It's my retirement. And someday when I have a lot of time on my hands, maybe I will try to get into that wallet and figure it out. You know, everybody's a white hat until you say, hey, here's $500,000. Give me back $480,000, please. I am not going to do that. I am not going to do that. And then the other question is, I also have mixed feelings about Bitcoin. As you've probably heard, I talked about it last week. You know, I'm not sure I want to facilitate this. There's all sorts of issues with cryptocurrency. There's the issue of the fact that it uses a huge amount of energy. I mean, a lot more than, the total amount of energy used by Bitcoin in a year is greater than some nations, because Bitcoin is created by computers doing complicated math problems, and they use a lot of energy by design. So that's problem number one. The other is it's a huge speculative bubble. The people who have Bitcoin are desperate to make sure that the price stays up so that you will buy it so they can cash out. I don't want to participate in that either. I am not a Bitcoin bro. Thank you very much. I could be, but I'm not. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Micah, we should get the link. I don't know if we should publicize it or not. I guess somebody put the link in. Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. I'm going to trust this guy. Okay, let me just show you, and you can be the judge. I'm gonna send this guy $500,000. Yeah, so he can hack my wallet and give it back to me. No, I'm not. And I'll tell you, by the way, Sure, people are going to say, but look, see, he gave back the $2 million. Well, we have his word for that. We don't know. He might have been that hacked his own wallet. Oh, yeah, the customer was watching the whole process with him. Yeah. No. No. You can't do an escrow account. It doesn't work that way. If he figures out the password to the wallet, which he can't, by the way, that's the other side of this. If you had a bad password, you could, but it's strong encryption. It's not just kind of some, cipher. It's strong encryption. So if I hope I did, used a good long, strong password, it's not crackable. But let's say he did. He's got access to the wallet. He could immediately, within 3 seconds, transfer the contents of the wallet to another Bitcoin address unknown to me, and it's gone. Done. So I'm sure he's a nice guy. I don't know anything about him. Oh, it was PIN protected. Well, of course that's no good. If it was 4-digit PIN or even 6-digit PIN, I can crack that. I can crack that in half an hour. Okay, fine. If it's strong, it's RSA encryption. It's good, strong. I use the Bitcoin Core wallet, which is good, strong encryption. Of course, I wouldn't have used anything else. Uses AES 256 CBC for the private key. That is not going to be crackable unless, I guess you could with rainbow tables if I used Monkey 123. I didn't because I tried that. You really couldn't brute force it because it's salted, multiple rounds of hashing. They really do a good job. They do it right. I don't have Scott. I could do an ad right now. I could support our show. You could support our show with our fine advertisers. If you're not a member of Club Twit, it's the ads that keep this on the air. Of course, Club Twit members, we thank you. Because you are helping a lot. In this case, our sponsor for the Tech Guy show this week is Ziprecruiter. I have to say, I do love Ziprecruiter. We use them. We've used them to hire some of our best employees. One of our editors, a bookkeeper, I think. Ziprecruiter is a place to go both as somebody looking for work and somebody looking to hire. And I am very hopeful. In fact, there's a lot of evidence that this is going to be the year employers go back and say we need to hire. And not only that, but we need to make it better for our employees. And I think that's good. According to a recent study, 90% of employers, this is music to my ears, certainly it's true for us, plan to make enhancing the employee experience a top priority in 2022. I think that's really a great thing. We, for instance, instituted 4-day work weeks at Twit. Again, because employee retention is really important to any company. When you hire and train somebody and they're fitting into the culture, you don't want to lose them. Think about it as an employee. If you ever were an employee, if you haven't always been an owner, what could a company do to make you happier? Make your employees feel more valued by asking them questions, getting their feedback, their input, giving them a sense of a real sense, not a phony sense, but a real sense of agency, of being involved in the work and making a difference in the work. Pay some attention to your company culture. Is it a culture that makes people want to come to work? We do things like lunch for the employees, snacks, things like that. Offer more learning opportunities. We also do that for our employees. Allow for more flexibility in work schedules. A lot of people want to stay working from home. I think that's a great thing. Make time to connect, show more empathy. And if you do need to add more employees to your team, there's a way that works really well for both employers and employees. It's called Ziprecruiter. Well, I'll tell you, I love it as a hiring person because they use this matching technology. So cool. You post your job. Ziprecruiter posts it to 100-plus job boards and social networks and all that stuff. So you're reaching out in a wide net. But they also have 1 million, I believe more than 1 million resumes, current resumes, because employees come looking for work to ZipRecruiter, and they'll go through and see who has the qualifications to match your posting, and they'll tell you, hey, here's somebody who might be a good fit. If you want, invite them. It turns out if you invite somebody to apply for your job, they're flattered, right? They feel good. They're much more likely to apply, much more likely to be the right employee. Invite your top choices to apply for your job. They apply faster. They follow through. No wonder ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated hiring site in the U.S. That's not just me, although I do think that, but G2 Ratings says it too. Their technology is so effective. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. We've done this many times, and often it's within the first hour. I'm always, because Lisa does the posting, my wife and our CEO, and she'll say, wow, like an hour later, look at this. This is a great candidate. No, this is a great candidate. I think ZipRecruiter is amazing. I think it's amazing. Find the right employees for your workplace with ZipRecruiter. You could try it free right now. Go to ziprecruiter.com/techguy. When you do that, by the way, it helps us because they say, oh, these guys listen to the Tech Guy show. ziprecruiter.com/TECHGUY, right? It's just the smartest way to hire, and I am a huge fan. ZipRecruiter.com/techguy. Try it free today. And, there's what's the harm? And I bet you will see, too, just like we do, those great candidates come rolling in. ZipRecruiter.com/techguy. I'm hopeful. I think 2022 is going to be a great year for both employers and employees. ZipRecruiter is doing what they can to help. ZipRecruiter.com/techguy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. It's funny how this has captured people's imagination. It drives them nuts that I have somewhere access to something that has 7.85 Bitcoin in it. Drives them nuts. It doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't bother me. It wasn't money I earned. It wasn't money I slaved hard for. It was found money, basically. And so it just doesn't bother me. It's interesting that, though, people have suggested I get hypnotized. People have suggested giving it to the wallet to hackers. The problem is, actually, this is a good thing to understand. The key in the Bitcoin wallet I used, which was from the Bitcoin Core distribution, is generated using a public-private key technology called AES. It's using AES 256 CBC, which is a very strong password encryption or data encryption technology. If the password is password, they can guess it. They'll be able to brute force it. But if the password is a long, strong string of random digits, numbers, and punctuation of maybe 10 or more characters, it is impossible to brute force it. It literally, there's no, and it would take trillions of years. So the only way it can be cracked is if I use some poor password. So this underscores for everybody the importance of using good passwords. Now, normally, on your smartphone or a website, it won't let you try passwords very fast. Your phone, in most cases, only allow you to try 10 times. And then after the first few failed passwords, usually they say, okay, you're going to have to take a 10-minute break, that kind of thing. They really slow it down. And there's a reason. If it's going to be crackable, brute forceable, it has to be done very, very quickly. So hackers who have access to the device. Not, you can't do it on the phone. You can't do it on a website. But with a wallet, they can actually have the wallet on their hard drive. They can bang at that door without any limitations, can try 100 million passwords a second. 100 million passwords a second. So if the password is a word in the dictionary, a series of words in the dictionary, or anything kind of simple, yes, it can be easily derived. Maybe it'll take a day or two. If it's a truly long, random password, doesn't matter. Unless they get very lucky and accidentally guess it in the first few days, it's going to take a very, on the order of the life of the universe time to do it. So that's why you use good passwords. That's why. 8888 Ask Leo. And that's why I did. And, of course, that's why I can't get into my wallet. Randy on the line from Seattle, Washington. Hello, Randy.
Hey, Leo.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you. I have a question. I'm getting an iPad mini, and I have a question. From what I know, you can buy the perfectly manufactured and packaged Apple Pencil for about $130. For about $20 to $30 or so, you can get a third-party pencil that is compatible with an iPad that has a battery that's rechargeable, or you can just use a stylus. In which case, when would you need one or the other?
That's interesting. I have never, the Apple Pencil's $99. I have never, and is rechargeable also. I have never used a third-party pencil. You can use, in fact, there's all sorts of fun YouTube videos of people using sausages and other things on an iPhone or an iPad because of the way it uses touch. Anything that has electric capacitance can be used. But the pencil is a different kind of thing. It's pressure sensitive, so it detects different pressures. If you're just using it to replace your finger, sure, you can, that's fine. You don't even need anything that's electrical. You can use a sausage. So there are plenty of not fake, but non-Apple styluses that are just to replace a finger. That's not a big deal. But if you want the benefits of the Apple Pencil, like pressure sensitivity and ability to do different things with it, then you want to be more careful. You don't want to just get the $10 finger replacement. There are companies that make, and I haven't tried them, so-called compatible Apple Pencils. I just always spend the $99. You're spending a lot on that mini. By the way, love the mini. Right. Love the mini. And the reason you might want to get a good stylus, for instance, is the mini's small and the screen is small. Some of the touch, what they call the touch targets, the things you're tapping, are too small for your finger, and they'll be too small for a stylus that doesn't have a very fine point on it like the Apple Pencil. So Zag does make a what they call the Zag Pro Stylus. I have never used it. It's half the price of the Apple Pencil. It looks like it's the same, but when I see universal capacitive tip, well, that's the back end, though. So I would look at reviews maybe and see, maybe somebody will call and say, are these things as good as using an Apple Pencil? But the Apple Pencil isn't so expensive that I feel like, oh man, I got it. That's an outrageous amount of money. And the things you can do with it are incredible. For instance, the Apple Pencil pairs immediately when you on the iPad Mini, the new iPad Mini, the Apple Pencil, and you can use either the first or the second generation. I recommend the second generation. It has a little magnet and it goes right on the side of the Mini, charges. The Mini recognizes it immediately. It says, "Oh, I see you have the pencil." I don't know. I'm looking at reviews on Amazon, and some people say I prefer the Zag. I prefer it, but I don't have a lot of experience with third parties. In fact, somebody in the chat room saying you should look at the Apple Pencil prices on Amazon because you might actually get it down to close to that price. He says he got his for $70. So if you can afford it, get the Apple Pencil. It's going to be the best experience.
Can I leave you with a few words for thought? Yes. A pencil without lead is pointless.
There is no lead in the Apple Pencil, but it's a very nice point. I love it. That's great. Yeah, enjoy. You're gonna. I think the Mini. I have the giant iPad Pro 12.9 inch, and I have the mini, and I use the mini far more often. It's just it's more convenient. It's a better size. I just love it. I think it's a great size and a great thing. If you really want a laptop replacement, the 12.9 is really a laptop replacement, but the mini is what a tablet should be, a pocketable little device you can take with you. Did you get the LTE built in or no?
No, I didn't. I just got the Wi-Fi version.
Yeah, which is fine because Wi-Fi's everywhere. I did get the LTE, and so I take the mini on trips and everywhere I am because I can always use it. It's like a big phone. For a while, I was tempted to try using it as a phone. And if you get a service like Talkatone, which is $5 a month or whatever, it'll use the internet on the tablet, gives you a real phone number people can call. I think the mini can be used kind of as a phone,
Yes, you can. I was reading about that.
Yeah. So if you wanted a really big phone, it's a great choice. Anyway, enjoy. I think you've made an excellent choice. I should mention, I don't think there'll be another mini, but Apple is rumored to be having an event about 3 weeks, March 8th, at which they will. I think it's almost certain. Look, Apple never says ahead of time. In fact, that date could change. Apple could change their mind. They could call the whole thing off. There's no guarantees in this world, but the rumors are strong and the indications are strong. They will announce a new iPad, but it will be the iPad Air. It'll be a high-end Air. They refreshed the Mini not so long ago, and I think it's really fantastic. It has a Type-C connector instead of the Lightning, which I think is great. It's more like a Pro. It's got the Pro styling, kind of the squared off corners. I just really like it. No headphone jack. Apple's just really eliminated headphone jacks, unfortunately. I still don't get that. I still don't understand it. But I do think the Mini is great. In fact, I didn't mention that Samsung announced also the Samsung Note Tab 8, their new tablet. Very nice tablet. Apple priced. I still think the iPad is it when it comes to tablets. Yeah, it's not it's the iPad Mini. They better announce a Mac Mini. I don't know if they will on March 8th. There's some evidence that they might. There's some thinking. Not evidence. There's no evidence. The only thing we have is logic. There's some logic that says maybe they will announce a Mac Mini on the 8th. If they do, I will be snarfing one up. iPad Airs are nice. It's funny. I either have the giant iPad or the tiny iPad. The mini middle size, not for me. Yeah, I saw it can be with Dex. I know. I think the tab is interesting. In fact, I tried to buy one, but I couldn't. And by the time I got through, I'd changed my mind. But I tried to buy one on Wednesday, but. Scribble with the Apple Pencil is very cool. Yeah. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, all that jazz. 8888. Ask Leo the phone number, 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. If you hear me talk about something on the air, and you want to know more, we'll put links up at our show notes, techguylabs.com. techguylabs.com. Now, let's go to Tom in Colorado Springs, Colorado, our next caller. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. Living the dream.
Living the dream. Yes, sir.
Living the dream. Yeah. So a quick question. I heard your son last week. I guess you had him on and what he was doing. It was wonderful. I have a son he's 26, so he's a video gamer, and he does Mobile Legends, which I guess is a mobile game. I guess he's he's like top 10 in the world.
No kidding. Wow.
He's like 9 or 10 or something like that, and the next American is like in the 40s. But so I guess the question to me is, I'm trying to understand how they make money. I guess he's trying to do it through subscriptions and other things. But if he actually wants to go out and get a job, because he's got a high school education, but and he's got a year of college, but he doesn't have an engineering degree or anything like that. So my question to you would be, what type of entry level or jobs would be available for him? And I was just listening to Ziprecruiter.com.
yeah. Is he living at home? Is that what's going on, Tom? Is like we want to kind of gently nudge him out of the nest. I understand completely. Yeah. Believe me, been there, done that.
Maybe I'm not fully living this thing yet, but yeah.
It's tough. His generation, my son's generation. I feel for him because they've had to go through some really tough times in the last few years. So video games, you and I think in terms of jobs. You just said it, right? Get a job. Right. And I always said that to my son. I said, okay, you like cooking, go to work in a restaurant, go to the culinary academy, get a job. That's one thing that's changed a little bit. Somebody who's really good at Mobile Legends can make money streaming on Twitch or YouTube with subscribers. You can make a lot of money. Now, the problem is, when we were kids, maybe we looked at the NBA and said, boy, I'm going to be an NBA star. They make $30 million a year, right? And of course, the chances of you and me becoming NBA stars are slight. And it's a nice dream, but it's not a practical job plan. And I think it's somewhat the same for streaming. They call it Let's Play streams. Twitch is the biggest place, twitch.tv. Is he streaming there?
I do not know where he's streaming.
Okay.
I really don't.
Okay. So if he's top 10 player Mobile Legends, probably people would watch him. It's going to come down to much more, though, than his ability to play the game. It's going to come down to his personality, his style, whether it's fun to watch him and all of that. There are jobs in the traditional sense that you can get. If he's not a programmer, of course, that's one job at a video game place, and he's not an artist, that's another job. There's a lot of jobs for artists, designers, because it's one thing to write the game, but you still have to have beautiful backgrounds and scenery and players. There's also quality testers, QC, where you basically do what he's doing now. You go in and you play the game, trying to find bugs. If he's very accomplished at gaming, that's what they need, by the way, because these guys are going to play games all day, and they're going to need to get through the game fast. They don't want somebody who's not a really talented gamer. So that's a possibility. Although I'm not sure there are more jobs doing quality control for gaming than there are streaming on Twitch. In fact, I think there's a growing this is really interesting, a growing middle class of streamers who aren't making millions of dollars, but who can make a living. My son is not making millions of dollars on TikTok, but he can make a living, a living that you and I would say, hey, that's pretty good for a 27-year-old. Wow. And maybe get his own place and get a girlfriend and start living life, get out of the bedroom. So it is really possible. So, I'm a mixed mind. I was very much like you. I said, Henry, you can't be doing this. You got to get a real job. But I think the world has changed a little bit. And a real job is a little different. If you are interested, I would go to twitch.tv and just see what people are doing there. There's a lot of it on YouTube as well. There's going to be more. Instagram has its own streaming service for Facebook. Facebook does too. And but the leaders right now are YouTube and Twitch, which is owned by Amazon, by the way. And for instance, Twitch, I have a friend who makes not a millionaire, but he does Minecraft videos on twitch.tv. And you have a chat room. People have buttons in the chat room. They can donate. You can set up subscriptions, so they have recurring subscriptions. There's a service called Patreon, Patreon.com, that a lot of people use because you develop a fan base and you say, hey, support me, and you'll get some special content, $5 a month, $10 a month. There's different tiers. So take a look at Patreon and Twitch. And if you're interested, but obviously it's going to be ultimately your son that's got to have to do the job. But sure. I would say be a little more open-minded to the idea that it might not look exactly like it looked in our day. It is very different for these kids. Even kids who are going to kind of more traditional work are often moving from job to job more often. The whole idea of working somewhere for 50 years or 40 years and getting a gold watch at the end, I don't think applies anymore. Because that's just not happening. So there are still, kind of corporate jobs, but there's a lot more of gig. It's more of a gig economy where if you've got a skill, let's say you can design a website or you can, draw logos and stuff I have my nephew just got out of art school and he got a job at a well-known design firm, but he's also doing a lot of gig working. And there's a lot of money and a living to be made if they have the skills and the discipline to continue to get work as a freelancer. I think many more of our kids' generation are freelancers than ever before. That's that so-called gig economy. So you and I as dads, maybe we have to open our mind. I mean, look. I
got the most open mind you can be.
I'm ready. He says, Tom, I'm sitting right next to you. I know exactly how you feel. My daughter's working to become a comedian. There's an interesting profession.
Yeah. You could be a comedian all your life, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
yes.
I don't know about this stuff, but I will keep an open mind. I continue to do that.
Best thing to do is encourage him to figure out a way to support himself, right? And the thing I think that's changed is there are a lot more in a way there are a lot more ways to do that than just going down and getting a job at the Burger King like you and I did. Right. Actually, it was McDonald's for me, but you get the idea. Hey, a pleasure talking to you, Tom. I'm with you. I know. Okay. Believe me, I'm right there with you. I guess when I was young, it was cut your hair, turn down your music. Us old folks have always. As long as I can remember, had trouble understanding the next generation and the way of life. But I think it's more dramatic than ever. This COVID generation, they've had 2 years in just a weird limbo. The job market is very fragmented. The internet has kind of destroyed many kind of traditional businesses, has invented many more new businesses. It's all different. And I don't know if the experience that we've had growing up and finding our way in the world applies as much as it did. There's certainly many more ways to go than there ever were before. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888, Ask Leo, the phone number. We'll get back to your calls right after this. Is that Beyonce or Destiny's Child? Who is it? No? Who is it? I don't even know who it is. How am I going to be able to... Who is it? Shakira. Which year? 2013? 2020. I have no memory. I don't even know who was in the Super Bowl in 2020, let alone who played in the halftime. Halftime this year, what? Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, Snoop Dogg. What is the deal with Snoop Dogg? He's like bigger than ever. It's all of a sudden it's like everywhere you go. Snoop Dogg. 8880. Huh?
He's hustling.
He's hustling. Every day I'm hustling. 8888. Ask Leo the phone number. Arthur on the line from Alton, New Hampshire. Hello, Arthur.
Hi, Leo. We're warm up here today. Probably more like California weather, but
tell me, what is warm in Alton, New Hampshire?
For a change, we still got a foot and a half of snow on the ground.
Yeah. It's not that warm.
Say, Leo, I've got a problem that's been really bothering me for at least a year.
Yeah.
I have two Chromebooks, which I absolutely love. They do everything I'll ever want a computer to do, except for one thing. I like to listen to a AM radio station in Boston, and I'm out of range on the radio. and I understand they put their content up live on online radio box and iHeartRadio.
Okay.
And I cannot access either one on either one of my Chromebooks.
You can't do it on a Chromebook, huh? What do you get? Do you get an error message, or just does it spin forever?
It says loading error when I try to click on online radio box, and that service carries very many radio stations, and I can access the others up and down. You can click right or click left, and every other station comes up, plays fine. Most of them are music.
For iHeart, I'm not sure about Radio Box, but for iHeart, they have a Chrome extension. So, oh, I'm sorry, you have to go to the Android app. Does your Chromebook support Android?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. So that's a point of confusion, because newer Chromebooks do support the Google Play Store, and that is one way to get the at least iHeartRadio app. Let me see if they have. Wait a minute. Now it says they also have on the web store. So in your Chrome browser, you can go to the web store and search for iHeartRadio, because apparently they also have a Chrome extension. Good for you, iHeart, because that's what we're on. What was the other one? Radio Box?
Yes, online radio box. That's the one that carries many stations, but they won't open up on my computer.
Yeah. A lot of times these, I'm not familiar with this one. A lot of times these companies have a player that requires technologies that are not available on Chrome OS, although you'd think it would work on Chrome, because I wonder what player they're using. I can't tell here.
I should add, Leo, my Chromebooks are both old. They're both no longer being updated by Google.
Yeah.
One is
that's why they can't do Android apps. They're older. Yeah.
Google Pixel 2013, and it's a beautiful computer.
That kills me. Google has not updated these, and they are incredible. And then to add insult to injury, not only is Google not making new Pixel books, they're no longer supporting the old ones. Google is an extremely frustrating company, because those Pixel books are great.
Oh, it's beautiful. It has the best computer, best keyboard, best definition on the screen.
But they're not updating. Eventually, you're going to run into things, because you don't get new versions of Chrome, you're going to run into things you can't do anymore. I don't think this is one of them. And again, this is another one where Radio Box does have an Android app. So you could do it in the App Store. Let me see.
Would that be Google App Store?
Yeah, but that won't work on your Chromebooks, because they're older. All the Chromebooks sold in the last couple of years support Android's App Store, which means not all, but most Android apps will run on them, which gives you a much broader range of things you can do, including Radio Box and iHeart. iHeart is good, though, because it looks like they have a Chrome web application. So I would look in, when you're on your Chromebook, hit the hamburger menu, that 3-line menu on the right that looks nothing like a hamburger. And then in there, I think it's extensions, but you want to go to the web store. And in the web store, search for iHeart. And then you can install it as an extension, and you should be able to play it. It doesn't look, I'm looking at online Radio Box. They support the Galaxy Store, the Amazon Store, the Google Play Store, the Apple Store, of course, but it looks like they don't support the Chrome Web Store. It's funny, because that would be the easiest of the bunch to do, but they don't. And apparently their browser, or their player rather, is something odd that the Chrome doesn't like. They might, for all I know, they're using Flash. I don't know what they're using anymore. So yeah, this looks really like it has a great selection of music. But on iHeart, to be fair, and I'm a little biased because I'm working for them, but iHeart has a very good app as well. What's unfortunately happened in the early days of streaming, you could just go in a browser to almost any station and stream it. And then there were apps like Radio Box and others that were independent, unaffiliated apps that would just aggregate these all and have players, and then you could find anything there. Nowadays, the radio stations have taken control of their streams, and they generally want you to go through the their special application for CBS or for iHeart. And so if you want to hear those radio stations, you have to figure out, all right, which app do I need for that one? Often going to the website of the radio station will tell you which apps they support. It should, frankly.
So my solution might be a new Chromebook, a third Chromebook.
Well, I hate to... honestly, there are a couple of reasons you might want to consider it. One, because it's very frustrating. I'm so mad at Google. That Pixelbook is great. You're right. It's got a fast processor, a lot of RAM. You spent a lot of money for it when it came out, but they have not. They've taken it out of support. It doesn't get updates anymore. It's unheard of. Well, it's not, because most companies do it, unfortunately. It's very frustrating. It's probably not unsafe to use it, but over time it's going to get less and less usable because you're not getting new versions of the browser, and lots of sites are going to start to require that. So at some point in the next few years, you're going to have to get a new Chromebook. Do you want to do it today? Sure, if you want. Samsung makes excellent ones. My favorites are made by Acer. Acer has some really nice Chromebooks, and prices range from $200 to $1,000. I would say for you probably want to spend around $500 for a high-quality, fast Chromebook. And then you'll be able to use the Android store, and a lot more things will be available as well. That's weird that you can't play Radio Box on the Chromebook. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Well, the old ones wouldn't go to waste. I have both these hooked up right in front of me at the moment, and if I get a third one, I'll have the third one.
Okay. So if you don't mind, and they're not throwing them out, Google should support it. There's no reason that they're not. These are very fast, nice machines. They're not out of date.
Yeah. If Google currently made a new model, I could.
And they don't make a new one. I mean, the closest they have is the Go, which is not, I don't think, anywhere near as good as the Pixelbook. Gosh darn Google. What the heck? What the heck?
I love this machine. I just, on YouTube, it's beautiful.
Well, and I've been recommending them because I really think Chromebooks are a great choice for most people. Try Tunein.com. Salty Corn Bar is suggesting in our chat room. Tunein.com, which is a website, might have it. You should be able to play it off a website, unless, like Radio Box, they're using some sort of player that doesn't work on Chrome. Why they would do that, beyond me. But who knows? Who knows?
That would be Android store. Just type in.
Well, it won't work on the Android store because your Chromebooks don't support it. But newer Chromebooks come with the Google Play Store. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
So a new one would. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
You put my mind at rest. You've answered my question.
Fabulous. Thank you, Arthur. I appreciate it.
Thanks again.
I hope the snow, I hope it goes away, I guess, right? You want it to go away?
I do. I used to love snow and ski, but that's many, many years ago.
I miss it, but I don't have to live with it.
It's 79. I've been there, done that.
Yeah. No more shoveling for you.
Now.
It's going to be 76 degrees this afternoon and sunny in Petaluma. So I think
we'll have that about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, you'll get spring. That's the thing I miss about living in New England. I love the 4 seasons, but I don't miss the snow. You're right.
Winters get longer every year.
Yeah.
But I love the summers up here in spring and fall.
Oh, summer in New Hampshire. We used to go to East Alstead, New Hampshire every year for summer vacation. Love it. Beautiful.
Yeah. I knew you had roots in Boston area.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Oh, I sure do. Grew up in Providence.
Oh.
Yeah. And we would go to New Hampshire. Oh, I loved East Alstead. That was beautiful. Beautiful place.
It's changed up here an awful lot in the last few years. It's pretty, it's becoming almost an urban sprawl, the whole area.
Oh, that's too bad. Is Alton whereabouts in New Hampshire is Alton?
I'm sorry?
Whereabouts in New Hampshire are you?
Oh, right on Lake Winnipesaukee.
Oh, man. It's been discovered. That's the problem.
It is, yeah. Houses, on the lake that were 500,000-600,000 3 or 4 years ago. Now they're million.
Oh, I'm bummed out. I was thinking of retiring up there. Oh man.
Well, you unlocked that Bitcoin. Later.
Yeah, if I get my wallet. Hey, a pleasure talking to you. Take care, Arthur.
Thanks again, Leo.
See ya. Bye. Hey, Johnny Jett.
Hey, Leo, how are you?
I'm good. How's your dad?
He's cured. He's out of isolation.
Cured? It's amazing.
Happy. He's nothing. He had no side effects.
Get the vaccine. There is the best poster boy for. He's what, 93?
93. And it looks like my
Vaccinated?
cousin, by the way, who had a 15% chance of living, is actually looks like is gonna pull through.
Oh,
Thank goodness.
hallelujah.
But he wasn't vaccinated, and he's still in the hospital.
Yep. And he's younger.
Definitely, 30 years younger.
He's been everywhere, man. He's Johnny Jett, our travel guru. Travel better with technology. Enjoying is it 88 degrees? Did I read that correctly in Southern California?
It's 88 right now.
Looking
at my watch.
88?
It's been like that all week. So we've gone to the beach multiple times, take a couple hours out, and it's better than summer because there's hardly anyone on the beach. And
any volleyball? You playing any volleyball, or is
you know
it
what?
too
My
early?
friends were not playing yesterday. I went down and they weren't there. They played on Wednesday, but
Johnny's part of the big Huntington Beach pickup league, right?
Manhattan Beach.
Manhattan Beach. Okay.
That's the home of beach volleyball.
Oh, it's awesome. It's so awesome.
And it's where they have the Wimbledon of beach volleyball every August.
No, really? I didn't know that. Oh.
That's the biggest tournament. Yeah.
Oh.
Manhattan Beach. If you win it, you get your name on the pier. So you walk down the Manhattan Beach pier, you'll see all the plaques of all the players who've won it.
Forget the Winter Olympics. I'm going to the Summer Olympics in Manhattan Beach. So, Johnny, I think travel is it's a funny thing. I feel it in my bones that people are just done. Whether COVID's done with us, we're done with it.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
And the mask mandates are being lifted, and people are getting out and about. And, of course, the first thing a lot of us want to do is hit the road, Jack.
Well, my mother-in-law is super cautious. I mean, we're very cautious, but my mother-in-law is even more. And my wife told me today that she just told her that we're going to Hawaii soon. And I said, oh, boy, what did you say? And she said, you know what? It's about time. It's time to get out. And
I think we've discovered that, A, masks work, and B, the vaccines work. So we kind of know how to do all the things that we want to do and do it safely.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely. And you know what? The numbers are starting to show it. Yesterday, the TSA screened 1.9 million through, and 2 years ago on the same day, pre-pandemic, 1.6. So,
wow.
Although
it's up, but that's what you'd expect. Pent up demand, right?
It is. And I think you're going to see a lot more of that. It will go up and down, and hopefully no more variants will come out. But a lot of things are happening. Australia, after 2 years, just announced they're opening up. It's coming. The Hawaii is dropping the booster requirement because they've realized they're losing a lot of business, especially to Florida and California. And Frontier and Spirit actually this week announced that they're going to merge.
They're merging. Now, those are the low-cost airlines.
Yep.
So you got to be careful with them because the plane ticket's inexpensive, but you might be paying for carry-on or...
I do not recommend flying in either one. And full disclosure, I've never flown in either one. I bought a ticket on Spirit once for like $15, and then when I went to check in, they wouldn't even let me take my bag. So I was like, forget it. I rented a car when I was in Florida. But they're great for some people. So just make sure that you know what you're getting into.
Exactly.
And,
exactly. Do you think as a merged airline, they're not going to change anything? They'll both be this. They'll.
Well, I think they're going to fly under one airline, most likely Frontier. The worst thing they're going to do is take away, I hope they don't, but they're going to take away Spirit's big, fat front first class seat. Can you hear my daughter?
Yeah. You want to run and get her?
No, I do have a lollipop here for her. I think that will quiet her down. I gave her an iPad, which she only gets when we're on the airplane.
Oh.
It's a special treat. Look, Olivia, come here.
Come here, Olivia.
She saw it now. She's okay.
She has the lollipop. She says, I don't need you. I don't need you anymore.
You can sit right here. Yeah, so my wife had to go out with my...
No, that's fine. We love family. No, that's great. Are you going to take the kids anywhere? Uh-oh, I think Livia unplugged the internet connection because Johnny just froze solid. Uh-oh. The young lady had, I've seen this happen with many of our hosts, not just kids.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back now. Yeah. What happened?
She pulled my cord
I
out.
knew she did. I knew it. I knew exactly what happened.
And I gave her the iPad, and she's trying to get me to figure it out what's wrong. The lock went on.
Oh, yeah. Unlock the
Anyway,
screen.
so Spirit Airlines has a first-class seat that Frontier doesn't. And most people think they're going to get rid of it, which is a shame because that was a really good deal. And as long as you don't check bags on Spirit, I've heard good things. And if you know what you're getting into, But they are going to create the 5th largest airline in the U.S., and I have no desire to fly it.
Yeah.
Because you don't get miles.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons. But anyway.
So travel is back. I saw somebody's Instagram post. They got on a cruise ship and there were only 150 people on a boat built for $1,500.
Wow.
I get they probably had a really nice trip, but
you can't get better than that.
No, that's pretty good.
I mean, that's like renting out your own ship. I mean, first of all, on those huge ships, there are areas of the ship where you are alone anyway, even when it's full.
They're really big. That's right.
They really are.
Yeah.
But so if you are traveling internationally, I do have a website for everyone. It's real basic, but whatplug.info.
Plug? Oh, I need this. People call me all the time saying, I'm going to Bulgaria. What do they use? What do they use in Bulgaria?
All you do is answer 2 questions. You just say where you're coming from and where you're going, and it just shows you what you need. I always travel with a universal, adapter, but I also carry local ones as well as a backup. And I wrote a post about it. And, I talked about my wife, she's blown out her hair curling iron or flat, whatever they call it.
Oh, yeah.
Flat iron.
Those you can really cause damage with.
Yeah. So you got to make sure that if you're
going to
do
that. By the way, it's whatplug.info, folks. Oneplug.info. So.
I think you need a transformer for when you're using a hair, like a flat iron or something like that.
Yes, you do. Yes.
But you don't need it for your laptop, correct?
Yes.
I've never had a problem with my laptop.
No, but again, this is, it's a little tricky. You have to look at somewhere on the power supply, they'll be printed what voltages it supports. And the problem is in the U.S. we use AC 110. And as you travel around the world, not only is it a plug issue, but there's also a voltage issue. And they'll often use 220. But laptops, because they're selling them all over the world, most of the time on the power brick, it'll say 110-240, which is the range of voltage it can handle. So make sure that.
Have you ever had one blow on you?
Lisa and we took a trip. I had brought with me an adapter. Maybe it was something that was, unbeknownst to me, 110 only. I blew out a succession of places. We blew out the hotel in Venice. Lights are out. I had to call
the whole
down.
Hotel?
Yeah, at least our floor. Okay, we were saying the electrician. It was an old monastery in Venice. Okay, so then, not learning, I got on the boat, blew out the cabin.
Oh my God!
So I should have realized. Then we got to, I think it was it was Istanbul. Blew out that hotel.
Yeah, these old hotels, you really got to be careful.
I finally figured out, why am I plugging this thing in? So you would think, there's a variety of things that can happen if you have the wrong voltage. I didn't think it would be blowing out the hotel, but I guess I would think it would have overheated and blown out the device. But I guess, anyway, yes, make sure you have not only the right plug, whatplug.info, but the right voltage. Very important.
Definitely. It reminds me of that movie with Ashton Kutcher when he was in Switzerland on a honeymoon. Did you see that?
No, but I've lived
20
it.
years ago. Oh, my God.
I've lived it.
I'll have to find it. It was a funny scene. Anyway, so that's important when you travel internationally. And I also, when I travel internationally, I always carry a small power strip because there are places where there might only be one plug.
But again, make sure it's also rated.
Yes.
I think it was a power strip that I was using that blew everything out.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So on the power strip, it will say...
make sure it can handle what you want, 110-240, which means it'll handle the entire range it's going to see. There's also the issue of 50 hertz or 60 hertz. That doesn't usually matter much unless there's a clock involved.
And how about on a cruise ship? Because I plugged those power strips in on cruise ships because
many cruise ships are now have the same plugs as the U.S.
Correct.
and they're appropriate voltage. Like I said,
not in the past.
This cruise ship, I did manage to blow out the cabin. They're very nice about it. It must happen all the time. It's a fuse. They reset it.
Right.
Yeah. Johnny Jett, you are the best. JohnnyJett.com is his website, the newsletter at JohnnyJett.com/newsletter, the podcast. He's on the Twitter, the Instagram, and the YouTube. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you. Say hi. Look, he's sitting next to me.
Yeah. It's so cute. Wait a minute. Let me get the picture up. Oh, look at her. She's enjoying her lollipop.
Olivia can say
Oh, Olivia, hello. She's a beauty. Look, she's got her mom's looks. Oh, she's gorgeous.
Thank goodness.
Awesome. Oh,
She's so
you're
sweet.
having a wonderful, wonderful family. I just think
very
it's so
fortunate.
great. Man, I remember those days. You know, when you get to my age and the kids are grown, you'll look back and say, oh, I want to go back and do that again. Now it's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
Now it's exhausting.
But I can see it when we're on the beach. I see a lot of older couples walking by, and they just have these smiles, and I can just see them, reminiscing.
Because what happens is you forget how much work it was and how little sleep you got, et cetera, et cetera. You only remember how adorable they were. And so, nostalgia, and you go, oh, I miss those days. I miss those days.
It's the best. It really
Love
is.
those kids.
If I knew it, I would have done it a lot earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
But
well,
I'm glad.
There we go.
I'm glad but I got to see the world, and hopefully I'm going to be able to show these guys the world.
This was your path. It worked out perfectly. My God, don't change a thing. Everything's perfect.
No, I'm very fortunate, and my son has seen a portion of the world.
I know. I
Unfortunately,
love that.
Olivia has not because
she's
so young. And
she's the COVID
hit.
generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son and I traveled all over the world. He's been in 20 countries. Yeah. Yeah.
That's impressive. I hope one day my son will get to go to every country in the world.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yep.
Yep.
I hope I'm with him. And my daughter.
Yeah.
And my wife.
Yeah.
Don't forget about her.
Don't forget her. She's very important. All right. We'll go back and be with your beautiful girl. And,
so who are you going for? Rams, or you're going for the Bengals?
Yeah, because I hate the damn Rams, even though Lisa says, no, we have to root for the NFC team.
You know what? They don't. I was watching some interviews by pro players, and they actually usually don't root for the same team.
Because there are rivals. How can you root for your divisional rival?
But I used to think the same thing. But
no, Lisa says, no, you have to root for the Rams. I said, I am not rooting for the Rams. And besides, the Bengals deserve it. The Rams will have another chance. I don't know about the Bengals, so it's good.
I disagree.
You think the Bengals
I think the Bengals will be back.
The Rams were just lucky. They finally beat the Niners. Finally.
No, they're not lucky.
That was pure luck. All right.
All right. Have a great week.
You too. Take care, John.
See ya.
Bye-bye. All right. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I better interrupt the Snoop before we go too far. 8888. Ask Leo. Laura, you need to have a signal. We have to have some sort of hand gesture when, because Laura says you better come in soon. Fade it out. Mark on the line from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Leo. How are you, man?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for holding on.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Talk to you? Come on, man. I'll wait a long time.
Oh, how long have you waited? How long? Years?
I got on right before the commercial. It was great. Kimmy got me right on.
That's not bad. You're in good hands, man. You must have friends up in high places. You bribed Miss Schaffer or something. What's up?
Hey, you guys been doing all this talking about. You went back to the Samsung 22, which everybody's saying, it's just another note, and then the iPads with their pens and styluses, and it.
When I say it's just, I'd say that's another note. I'm not saying it's just another note. I loved the note. I was sad when Samsung says there will be no more notes, and I'm thrilled. In fact, I've ordered the Ultra because I'm thrilled to see it. The irony is I've never used a pen. I love having a stylus. the idea of a stylus, the things you can do, like the note. Remember, you can pop the stylus out and start taking a note right away without unlocking the phone, and just all those things. And I just never end up using them. But it's nice to know they're there.
You remember the last time that experience was good, though, was back when Palm ruled, and Palm had stylus, and they also had a bit of software called Graffiti.
Graffiti.
Where you had to learn a certain...
You bet.
Certain, motions and
a
characters.
Special alphabet just for the computer, because
like a shorthand, and it wasn't hard, and it worked well.
It wasn't hard. Instead of writing a T, you'd write like kind of a backwards L, kind of. Yeah, it was easy.
Yeah, it was easy to learn. No, I love that. And what I really like is somebody to come out with a story of why Palm lost it all, because they had it all. They had everything before everybody else had it. But what about now? Is there software similar to that's out there that's add-on to the?
You'd like to have Graffiti back. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I know quite a bit of this story, having been around for a few years. I, in fact, interviewed Jeff Hawkins, the man who created Graffiti and the Palm, and asked him, tell me the story of Graffiti. Why did you have a special alphabet? And he said, at the time, processors were so limited that it was just very hard to disambiguate. That was the problem. Things like a T looked like other letters to the computer. They just couldn't figure out. So he said, instead of having you draw the down line and then the cross line, and us trying to figure out, does he mean an F? Does he mean an E? Does he mean a W? What is he, an X? Just draw a right angle. So it's, as you remember, swipe from left to right and then down. Faster stroke for humans. You never lift the pen off. And not ambiguous for the computer. But here's what's changed. And so Hawkins, he said, I decided to, it's funny, in computer science, sometimes they talk about this, often in UI design. Should the computer mold itself to the human or the human to the computer? And most of the time, companies say, no. The computer should mold itself to the human. It's not a good experience if humans have to relearn the alphabet. But this was an example, I think Jeff was right, of one case where the human should maybe learn, it's not even mold itself. Meet the computer halfway. And Graffiti was, you could write, I could write, and I bet you could too, very fast in Graffiti once you got used to the strokes.
Very definitely, yeah. It was great.
So what's changed is that computers are better. They're a lot better. And they can now do a lot better job of understanding your handwriting. Microsoft started this by training on humans artificial intelligence to understand human handwriting. Turns out that's a very hard thing to do, especially since our handwriting varies a lot. And my old friend Jerry Pournelle, who was a great sci-fi author and wrote the Chaos Manor column for Byte magazine. You remember him? Jerry was very proud because Microsoft came to him when they first started training on writing and said, can we use your handwriting? So Microsoft's handwriting recognition always worked better for Jerry than anyone else. It was trained on Jerry's handwriting. But nowadays,
Let me be the model.
There is a feature on iPads called Scribble that they recently built in that's very much like Graffiti. Any field where you could type text, if you have an Apple Pencil, you can tap on it. It'll open a little window, and you can handwrite. And what is amazing is we've come such a long way. It's very, very good at handwriting recognition, much like these computers and phones now are very good at voice recognition, much better than they used to be. So it's just as computers have gotten smarter, faster, there's more memory, and machine language training has gotten better. They've kind of abandoned this idea that we've got to mold ourselves to the computer. So I would say, are you going to get this new Samsung Galaxy Ultra?
Not anytime soon, but that's one of the things I have in the back of my mind when I decide to change.
I'll tell you what, I've ordered it. I'll get it February 25th. On the 26th, 2 weeks from today, I will give you my impression. One of the very first things I'll look at is stylus handwriting recognition. I'll let you know if it's
Thank you very
as
much.
good.
I think it's very important.
I completely agree. More and more, we're realizing that the interface between humans and computers is the tough part. the sticking point in a lot of stuff is that human-computer interface. They don't understand. They need to understand our voice better. They need to understand our handwriting better. And as computers get better at doing that, they'll be much more natural and easy to use. And I think that's very important. Companies understand it, and they're working on it. And I think we have
great information.
Yeah, I think we have gotten better. Jeff Hawkins, if you're interested, wrote a really good book called On Intelligence. He's a brain science. He's a neuroscientist. In fact, his company that he works at now is called Numenta. They're trying to invent computer chips that work the same way as the human brain. But he wrote an amazing book called On Intelligence that talks about how the human brain works and how we're trying to understand it so that we can attempt to duplicate it in computing, which is a very interesting task, a real challenge. Mark, a pleasure talking to you. I've got my Palm Pilot right behind me. I have several of them right behind me in my museum, but, they're there. There's another story I've told before, but related to that, before the Palm came out, I was a fan of something called a Psion, P-S-I-O-N, the Psion 3A from a British company. And it was a pocket computer about the size of an eyeglass case. When you opened the clamshell, there was a real keyboard, a QWERTY keyboard. It had great software. But the one thing that was missing is that you couldn't easily get data into and out of it. So if you had a computer and you had a calendar or an address book on the computer, you couldn't get into the Psion. And I remember having lunch with the creator of the Psion. I said, why don't you have some way of easily synchronizing with your computer? And he said, Leo, no one wants that. We're not going to do it. No one wants that. And I think people want that. And, of course, along came Palm a couple of years later, completely put him out of business. Because what did Palm have? It had that magic thing where you put it in the dock, you press the button, it would go boot-a-doop. It would copy everything off of the computer, boot-a-doop. And it had quick, very fast, very accurate synchronization with your desktop. And that's what literally, that and Graffiti put Psion out of business. Jeff told me another thing in secret. He said, that button that you pressed on your Palm Pilot dock to get the docking going? We didn't really need that. We could have easily had it just start when you dock it, and that would have been fine. We didn't need to play the tune. We didn't need to have a button. He said, but people like it. We did that for the people. They like to push a button. They need a magic button. I think there are probably some good books about that. There is something called Graffiti Pro you can get on Android. That's interesting. Thank you, Asthmatic, in our chat room. Graffiti Pro for Android. So if you want graffiti, I guess you could still do it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. This is funny. They say, somebody in the chat room said, when are you having a garage sale? Well, one thing that's keeping me from retiring, by the way, I bought the Note, the Note 8, S8, whatever, the Samsung Ultra. I bought it from Best Buy, but we'll see, because thank you, Mike B. He said, I think they have them in stock at Best Buy. We'll see. Best Buy says some sort of weasel words like, we'll get it to you as soon as we can. We shall see. No, in fact, I have it. The Psion successor. Let me see if I have it here. Somewhere I have it. God, look at this museum. That's a ZTE. Oh, here it is, yeah. So this was the company that was that made a pocket computer, very much like the Psion. It has even better kind of keys. I'll plug it in and I can start it up. Is that the charging port? Oh, yeah. Buzzed. And there were all sorts of, this is the Gemini, Planet Computers. So and this was very much like the Psion 5. I like the 3A. See, maybe it doesn't have enough juice yet to turn on. This is running Linux, as I remember. Does it matter where I plug in? Well, we'll charge it for a little while, see if it works up. But yep, that's another one that'll be available on the estate sale. There's also all of these. The thing that's keeping me from retiring is I don't know what we're going to do with all this garbage. I mean these antiques. I could do a TikTok series on just going through this stuff in the back. So, look at all this stuff. There's the, this is the first Android phone. This is the first netbook. First iPhone. This is another iPhone.
Go landscape.
Go landscape? Can I hold it? Can I support it? This is QCat. That's my first digital camera. Snapchat spectacles. That was the one PC per child. Original iPod. Why, here's a Galaxy Note 2. I think this must be the one I broke. Here's a BlackBerry. The Palm Pilot. Oh well, you get the idea. There's a lot of crap back there. Where does he get all those amazing gadgets? Yeah, one of the iPhones I dunked in water. Maybe that's there. Sure. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff back there. Some of those, I should just go through all of that. You just sold your 45-year-old Apple I? Joey, you're kidding me. Did you make a lot of money on it? Was it running? Mitch Waite had an Apple I, which he reconditioned so that it would be saleable. I think, some of them sell at auction for hundreds of thousands of dollars. There we go. Now it's charging 0%. Wait a minute. You got $500,000? Joey, come on. Really? Really? That's more than my Bitcoin wallet, dude. No. Joey, you're teasing me. Did you auction it off? Wow. It was displayed on Times Square. Drinks are on Joey. Where should I look it up? Times Square Apple I. Oh, the Manhattan, let's see, Fifth Avenue Apple I. Chaffee College Apple I, okay. Did you get to keep the money? I hope. Incredibly rare Chaffee College Apple I sells at auction. This was back in November for $500,000. You had the wooden case, Joey? Oh, man. Oh, man. Congratulations. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, Apple One computers. I was talking with somebody in our chat room who some years ago bought an Apple One in 1977 from a teacher at Chaffey College, an electronics professor who had bought it new. He sold it to his student, who's, I guess, kept it in good shape. It was running. It was one of the original, there's only 60 remaining Apple One computers. Not the Apple II. There were millions of those made. The Apple One, they were all handmade in Steve Jobs' garage. This one had koa wood case. It wasn't a plastic case. It was a beautiful wood case. And our chatter sold it for $500,000. What? Wow. And the most amazing thing, that's not even the record for an Apple One computer. One was sold in 2014 for $905,000. So if you call me and say, what should I do with my 1998 Lenovo that's old and worn, and should I put Linux on it? I'm just going to say, take good care of it. It might be worth something someday. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Fred on the line from Upland, California. Hello, Fred. Leo Laporte.
Hey, how you doing, Leo?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You're right up my alley today. You start out the show with talking about the Samsungs, the phones, and we have two S8 Edges that are out of memory.
Yeah, might be time. Yeah.
Out of time.
Out of time, out of pocket. Yeah. Those were great phones. You kept it for a long time. You owe yourself a new phone.
Yeah, we actually have two portable chargers that we carry with them everywhere we go, and I actually got the recommendation out of the chat room, the Anchor wireless, and I just stick that thing in my back pocket with the phone.
Love those.
It charges it all day long.
Yeah, love those.
But
I have a bunch of those. We rotate through. Yeah.
So we were looking at the Samsung Ultra. And we're with Verizon, and you had mentioned that you went to Samsung to order rather than...
It was complicated. The day of Wednesday, Samsung's site was down all day. You could not, but it wasn't down in a good way. You went to pre-order and you did all the specs and all the things and the trade-ins and everything, and then it would spin and spin and spin and then say, your card is empty. And I tried that 100 times. So many people I know did. Nobody could buy. So I finally gave up and went to Verizon. Fortunately, that night, Samsung came back. They had a few better deals, a few extra little doohickeys they were offering. And so I canceled the Verizon order and got it from Samsung. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
2 weeks.
Yeah, so what we were looking at was really the storage on them. And these are supposed to be up to 1 TB, but Verizon doesn't have the 1 TB. And then, so that's...
Samsung may not, too, at this point, because, these things sell out fast. So your S8 probably had, at best, 64 gigs on it. How much storage did it have? Do you know?
It had 32.
Yeah.
32 on the
SD card, right. So one thing you should know is they've dropped the SD cards. SD cards were always problematic on Android because you can pop them out. So they could never put everything on them. They were really only good for data, photos, and a few apps you could put on there as long as they didn't have widgets.
Yeah, and if you put the apps on there, when the app updated, it would move back to the regular storage. So
yeah. It's always a little problematic.
So other than the Samsung, I mean, we like the Samsung. We've had them for years. Is there an alternative that might be better with Verizon, or that
they should all be fine with Verizon? What you don't really care about millimeter wave, which is Verizon's fastest. The one when they talk about 5G, they're always talking about, this millimeter wave is 10 gigabits per second. Yeah, if you're 80 feet from the tower, and the towers are in some very limited areas, what you really care about is the two other bands, the low band and now the mid band, what Verizon calls ultra wide band. That's much more prevalent, and it works much at a better distance, so it's much more likely you'll actually get it. Ultra-wideband is rolling out very quickly. That's the one that AT&T and Verizon bought for billions of dollars, and then the FAA said, wait a minute, you can't use it. Airplanes will be falling out of the sky. They've worked that out.
I've heard that story.
Yeah, they've worked that out. Ultra-wideband is fantastic. It's gigabit speed. It's going to be much better than millimeter wave. Millimeter wave is silly. We should never buy a phone just for the millimeter wave unless you know you live within 800 feet of a tower. But ultra-wideband and the low band are really good. Low band is essentially the same speed as LTE, not much of an improvement. It's the ultra-wideband, the middle band, that's going to be very interesting. So, yes, and almost any phone you buy, if it says 5G will support it, you probably would want to ask that. You don't have to buy it from Verizon, though, for that to be the case. It's just a radio frequency. If they support those radio frequencies, they'll be okay.
Yeah, I was just looking at Verizon just for the convenience. I can go onto their website and say, upgrade my phone, and they'll ship it to me at some point. And then basically all I have to do is turn it on and go through the steps rather than have to buy it from a third party and then... Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. In fact, I am going to put a Verizon SIM in it. It's going to be Verizon. But so Verizon probably sells... I don't know for sure, but they probably sell the Motorola series. Those Motos are very good, less expensive, and I think very good. I would say if you don't need the top-of-the-line flagship phone, and if you've been using an S8 for the last 10 years, you probably don't, I would definitely look at the Google Pixel 5a with 5G, and I think Verizon also sells that. That's a $400 phone that is... because it's from Google, going to have all the Android updates, a very clean version of Android. I think it's going to be a good choice. So,
okay, yeah. Our main concern is because these are used for business, is that our text messages, our phone call log, and any photos that we take, even though we back everything up to the cloud, that these are available on the phone. So if somebody calls me and says, "Hey, 5 years ago you did something for us,"
but you've been
quickly look.
You've been suffering with 32 gigs, which is barely usable.
And one of the phones, I'll tell you, no notifications, doesn't ring, all that good stuff because
it's time.
It's absolutely full. It's
it's time. So. Even 128 gigs, which is the minimum all of these phones have, is 4 times more, is going to be probably adequate. But look at 256. The Samsung S22 Ultra comes in 128, 256, 512, which is the one I got. By the way, there are differences in the models. You'll get more RAM if you get the 512 or the 1 terabyte. You'll get 12 gigabytes of RAM. I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. We'll have to wait and see. Usually it does. So, but 128 is probably more than adequate. But if you got 256 or 512, you'd probably feel like you've got. That's more than my laptop has. You're going to be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
They don't support SD cards though. So what you buy is what you're going to have going forever, right?
Yeah, I was disappointed when I couldn't replace the batteries in them. So
I want to correct myself. Samsung calls its millimeter wave UW. See, it's confusing. There is a mid-band. I don't know what logo shows up on your screen when you get the mid-band, but that's the one you care about. It's not UW, I guess. UW is still that millimeter wave, which is silly. Hey, thank you for the call. Enjoy. Do you know what you're going to get?
Well, right now we're looking at ordering the Ultra, but we'll take a look at what Verizon has on their website. At the Moto and the Google phone.
It's kind of how much money you want to spend. I mean, the Ultra is going to have cameras that are mind-boggling. I mean, the camera. I've been looking at some of the reviews of the cameras. They're remarkable. So it might be worth taking a look at. Hey, I appreciate the call.
Hey.
Enjoy your new phones. You've earned them.
Yeah, at the end of the month.
8888 Ask Leo. I think to keep you as a customer, Verizon should give you a pretty good discount. After all, you've been paying for it all this time. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. No, wow, I'd love that. So C-band is UWB? Okay. There's the source of my confusion. T-Mobile calls it UC for ultra capacity or ultra confusing. And I only have, as I mentioned last week, the experience of T-Mobile's UC once at the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles. For some reason, must be close to the tower. It's close to the highway, and I guess T-Mobile must have put a tower there. It's their old Sprint towers. And I was blown away. I've never seen cell phone speed like that. And it kind of was encouraging that, in fact, the phone could go that fast. This is an old, last year's iPhone 12. And it was pretty remarkable. I was very impressed. Let me see if I can find that speed test. Yeah, 503 megabits down and 15 up. Now, the thing is, I don't think you need faster than that ever. But on a phone, anyway. Yeah, so it's really up to the carrier what logo they show. But the good news is the Ultra for sure supports millimeter wave, mid-band, and low band. So Verizon with C-band shows UWB. Okay. Well, at home, you might want more than 503 megabits because you have multiple users, but on your phone, you're the only one using it. I can't think of what you would need more than 100 megabits for, believe me. UW, UC, and 5G Plus are non-standard. That's the problem, is there's no standard. For instance, AT&T calls it 5GE and it's LTE. I mean, so Verizon, let me see, 5G logos. Okay. Oh, it's iPhone specific. So on iPhone, so that's why it varies depending on the phone. So on Verizon, millimeter wave is UW. On the iPhone, UWB is their C-band. And on the low band, it'll be just 5G by itself. Ultra confusing. But that's on the iPhone. I don't know. We talked about this last week, and I looked it up. Because T-Mobile, I saw this UC. I said, "What is this UC?" And that's why I did a speed test. Ultra capacity. So AT&T refers to low band 5G as 5G, millimeter wave is 5G plus on AT&T. Verizon, UW is millimeter wave. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Scream and shout. I love this song. 8888, ask Leo. The phone number, techguylabs.com. The website. Jim is on the line from Santa Clarita, California. Hello, Jim.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I am very well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. What do you think my PC Junior from 1985 is worth?
Well, it depends. Do you have the chiclet keyboards? Because that's really where the value goes through the roof, those little rubber keys. Wow.
Oh, all right.
That's a classic.
Yeah, I can look.
That is a classic. I don't know if it has any value. But I think the value is tied to the rarity. I mean, there are only 60 Apple Ones. I think there were a few more PC Juniors. That was a fascinating attempt by IBM to get into the home market, which flopped.
Yes, it certainly did.
Yes.
Listen, just a couple quick questions. One is a simple one, but important to me. I'm trying to clean up the desktop on my iMac, and I take a folder of photographs, 10 or 20 of them, grab the folder and drag it down to the photos icon on the bar below, and it transfers.
Yes.
Yet it leaves that folder on the desktop.
Yes.
Can I now delete that desktop folder knowing that those pictures are in the photos?
Yes.
Okay.
But just in case, just to make sure, you might, in theory, yes, it's transferred them. You can see why it doesn't delete them because because it doesn't want to scare you. But you can tell what iPhotos has copies of by going into the iPhotos library. And you do that by right-clicking and showing package contents, because it's not what says it's the library isn't really a library, it's a folder. And in there's another folder called Original Photos. Just the first time, check to see if it's in Original Photos. If it is, you can throw away the originals.
Okay, and I can repeat that process without having to verify each time.
Yes.
Right, okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I'm always nervous when I say that because I don't want you to lose anything, but yes.
Yeah, I understand. And if it was, I've tried to go back and look, but what I'm doing is adding 20 pictures to my 10,000 pictures, and it's sometimes difficult to find what I just...
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, right. In theory, what you're really doing is copying.
Right.
Not moving, but copying those photos, which means now you have two copies. I still, by the way, would back up those photos. You have an external drive you copy them onto, so you have two copies.
Right, and I've also got your iDrive that I'm backing up to as well. And I'm also my Mac is running out of storage unbelievably. It's a year and a half, 2 years old. I've got a terabyte, but between pictures and documents, I seem to have filled it up.
Yeah,
and so I'm looking at buying an external hard drive, and my question is this. Once I get that external hard drive of 4 terabytes or whatever, and I take those folders and move them over to that, can I delete them from my hard drive on the computer to free up that space? Is that what I should do?
Yeah, and again, this is a case where it's not a backup if you only have one copy, no matter where that copy lives. So if you're going to delete the originals, make 2 copies. You've got iDrive, which is great. That's the cloud copy. In general, it'd be nice to have 2 local copies as well. Now you have 3 copies, 2 different storage media, and 1 offline. That's the ideal so-called 3-2-1 backup. So but you at that point you've made a copy of it. You're not going to lose them. There's the only hitch in the giddy up is, copying isn't perfect. Sometimes it copies and it misses a bit and it's corrupted. It can get corrupted. And it's really hard to verify that a copy worked. That's why a lot of backup programs will do a verify after copy routine just to check to see that they got a good copy of everything.
Sure.
So that might be another thing to add to your process. Make sure you got them.
Okay. And my final question, Leo, and thank you for your time, is
of course.
I've got a new iMac that I replaced with an older iMac because the older iMac, which was 7, 8, 9 years old, was getting clunky. I'm now beginning to experience, only after 2 years, the same type of problems with my new iMac. And I've got, can it take 32, the memory? I got half of what the options were, right? So
32 is plenty. You should never need more than 16 even, but 32 is more than enough, absolutely.
Things like iMovie are not working properly. The voice isn't synced with the photo, with the picture, with the
That's
video.
another matter. That's something else. What are you keeping up to date with your macOS updates? Are you up to Monterey now?
I am, but I tried to, but it said I can't load it because my scratch memory is full, whatever the hell.
Okay. This is important. So you are running out of storage. So you were right to be copying stuff off as best you can. I bought the new Mac M1 laptop with 512 gigabytes of storage, half of what you have. And with a little discipline, that's fine. But it does take things like I only keep, say, this year's photos on the hard drive and move everything else off to backup. It requires the discipline to say, I'm going to keep on my laptop only the stuff I'm going to be using, currently, and I'll have in backups everything else. And so 512 is even enough if you do that. But it's always hard to do that, I know.
Yes, I have no discipline.
Yeah. So we'll definitely get sluggish if the disk is full.
Okay.
So you're right. The first thing, you're doing the right thing. The first thing to do is get at least modern operating systems want a surprisingly large amount of free space on the hard drive, like 10 gigabytes at least.
Right.
I'd like to see 50 gigabytes free. And then if it's still sluggish, it might be time to either rebuild the system, backup data, start fresh. You can even refresh the operating system without rebuilding, without modifying your data. Those things, just like any other device, those things help.
Right.
Shouldn't be sluggish at 2 years old. It shouldn't be.
No, should not be.
No.
I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
And then a program like iMovie, it won't even let me close iMovie. I open it up, it doesn't work properly. I go to hit the red button, and it just locks up.
I think that's going to be lack of hard drive space. I think that has to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Leo, thank you.
My pleasure, Jim. Good to talk to you. Yeah, it's modern. It's funny. We have so much storage. I mean, I'm laughing at myself saying, yeah, I only got 512 gigabytes on my new laptop. I was worried. 512 gigabytes is a ton of storage. It wasn't so long ago we buy a computer and it had a 2 gigabyte hard drive, and it was so big, we'd have to partition it to use it. I couldn't, 2 gigabytes nowadays is not enough to install an operating system. So just as the drives have gotten bigger, so have our requirements. I'm going to say 50. You want 50 gigabytes free for an operating system to perform optimally. Remember, it's using that for a variety of things, including storing, when you run out low on memory, storing stuff in and out of memory. You need a lot of free space on a modern operating system. So that's definitely part of the problem. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls coming up. So this Gemini runs Android, which is kind of interesting. I should plug it back in. It's not fully charged. I think there's a SIM in here, which is kind of interesting. I'm trying to figure out where the SIMs go. As I remember, this whole thing comes off. I remember when I got a 20 megabyte hard drive, and I went crazy. I thought, oh my God, those what they were RLL hard drives from Seagate. I had 2 of them. I thought 40 megabytes. I'll never run out of room. We're doing Super Bowl halftime performers for $300. I don't know who this is. From Memphis, Tennessee? Yeah. All right, tell me. Who is it? That's Timberlake? Is Janet Jackson with him? Oh, yeah, there we go. I think I know what year that was. I'll never forget it. Jessica Simpson, Janet Jackson, P. Diddy, Nelly, Kid Rock, and Justin Timberlake. Reliance Stadium, 2004. I'm looking at the list. Wikipedia has them all. And then they went through a period in the 2010s of single artists. I remember when we went to see the 49ers play in New Orleans, it was Beyoncé. That was great at the Superdome, 2013. Bruno Mars, Katy Perry. Just looking at, and then The Weeknd. Remember The Weeknd that was so weird last year. That was so weird. His House of Mirrors, that was so strange. This year, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. And I can't feel my face. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. Stephen in Venice, California. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm well. I'm just getting a scooter, I guess. Yes. I have a question regarding iPads.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry, I'm going to have to call you back. I have a man yelling at me.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. We don't want anybody yelling at you. Hey, what are you doing on the phone there? Get off the phone. I should have known. He's in Venice. He's down there in Venice Beach. So I'll just give you a moment. He hasn't hung up. So should we hear? Yeah, he's still talking with the man. Yeah. I'll tell you what. I'm going to put you on hold, and if you would, Kim, just keep an ear out when he's done with the altercation. We can get back. The Giz was coming up in just I know what you're thinking. Everybody's saying, leave it up. Let's hear the fight. But this isn't TMZ. This isn't TMZ. Kim, are you listening now, Kim? Is there anything?
Yeah, he's still talking.
Still talking to the guy? Are they fighting? So he's obviously down on Venice Beach.
I don't. No. Oh, he might be coming back.
There's crazy people down there.
Are you there? Hello? I'm glad you're not airing this right now.
Oh, is it bad? Is it getting bad? Are they swearing? This is actually better than hearing. It would upset my tummy to hear them actually fighting, but hearing your reaction is kind of fun.
He just said somebody had a very small member.
Oh, no. Don't. No. Oh, my goodness. Holy cow.
Oh.
You know why? It's 88 degrees. And people have come out. They've shed their parkas. They've taken their masks off, and they're down there on Venice Beach in the sunshine and the roller skates.
He hung up.
Poor guy. I hope he's okay.
Do you want to just take a cold call?
You get somebody. As soon as you say it's okay to talk to him, I'll talk to him. I don't. We actually went through all the calls. We usually do this towards the end because in about 5 minutes we're going to put the Dick Debartolo on and then wrap the show up. So we don't want people just be sitting on hold and never get to him. So we had cleared the lines, and then Steve threw us a curveball down there on Venice Beach. Yeah, I guess the pandemic's over. We're back to fighting in the streets. Oh no, wait a minute, that never stopped, did it? All right, as soon as Kim, we got the calls coming in. But Kim's got to screen them. She's got to be very careful now. And Professor Laura, did you have your hand hovered over the button?
Oh, yes.
Yes, she was ready with the magic button. All right, let's say hi to Michael in Torrance. Hello, Michael.
Oh.
Thanks for saving us. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Dr. Leo.
Yes, sir. I'm well. How are you?
We're doctors in nerddom, remember?
Oh, yes. I do remember.
Yeah.
Yes, we have Dr. PhDs or PHNs, nerds of philosophy. I don't know. What can I do for you, Mr. Doctor?
I'm the old Rand Netcom IBM guy.
Oh, yeah.
You guys been talking a lot about various bandwidths.
It's so unclear. It's so unclear. Maybe you can help me understand all of this.
Well, I was going to ask you because I'm confused. I've got, I'm a broker now, and I do a bunch of appraisals, and I've got this really cool application. It's a custom application that you answer a bunch of questions, you take photos, and then you actually do a floor plan scan using your iPhone or
super cool
phone, Android. It takes 5 minutes to do a floor scan, and it provides a awesome.
So you're basically doing the whole listing on your phone, including images and a floor plan.
It's not a listing; it's basically an appraisal.
Appraisal, okay.
For whatever reason, for refi or something like that.
Yep.
So the application is called Clear Insight. It really doesn't matter, but it's all done on the phone, and then it's uploaded on site. And the problem I'm having is, and maybe you can answer this, I don't know what the packet size for uploads to cell tower is, but if I try to upload, because it's probably about 500 meg to 700 meg with all the questions, all the photos, and then the floor scan. It basically uploads to the asset company, it runs it through AI, and then provides all this information on the back end. But if I upload via their local Wi-Fi, if I get their guest password, it uploads in 2 minutes. If I try over the cell network, and I've got Verizon, and I've got 4 bars, it takes 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Wow.
It doesn't even start. So I'm just curious.
So it could be.
I know which band I'm on.
Yeah. So it could be, of course, as you know, it's asymmetric. So the downloads are always much faster than the uploads, even on cell networks. So it could be that. But you mentioned packet size. That got me thinking. Remember in the old days, we used to set the MTU in our PPP settings, which is
1536, wasn't it?
Yeah, you remember.
Yeah.
You remember. So the idea was you're going to specify how big the packets are, and that could be important because a packet that's too big than the maximum the network will allow just gets thrown out, and you have to retransmit. So, and it turns out, I didn't know this, but the MTUs for U.S. cellular networks are smaller than the default at home, your home network. For Verizon, it's 1428.
Oh.
So you might want to set your your MTU to certainly lower than the default 1500. Maybe and your MRU maybe to 1420. You might want to actually turn. Now, how do you do that? You got me. Probably it's in the APN settings. I don't know, but I would look in there. There under carriers, under connections, there are settings, and I think MTU might still be in there. That's an old-fashioned idea.
Yeah,
but
that may actually help because I was wondering about the packet size.
Yeah,
to, the towers.
Well, see, because of your NetCom background, you know about this stuff. So we're maybe getting a little more advanced here. I don't, it couldn't hurt. It might help. You don't want it too low because then you're sending too many packets and the overhead of each packet slows you down. You don't want it too big because they'll reject those extra large packets. So you want the just right Goldilocks packet size. And apparently on cell networks, it's different. Verizon's 1428, AT&T is 1420, and others are 1430. So who knew? But thanks to you, we now all know.
So it will accept small packet size.
Good. Take a look at that. I'd be very curious, Michael, if that helps. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, the GizWiz, coming up. So not drop net necessarily, it might be reassembled, but again, that's a lot of overhead. So how fascinating. It may also just be, I imagine this clearance is creating a pretty giant package to upload.
It is. Like I said, it's probably, each photo is high res, and there's typically, 60, 70 photos.
Yeah.
So they're all too.
So it might be several hundred megabytes you're trying to upload.
Oh, yeah, easily. But over the Wi-Fi, and that's assuming, 10, 20, maybe 30 megabits max.
Right.
It can go in about two minutes. Over the cell, like I said, it either won't start or it can take 5
Isn't that
10,
interesting?
20 minutes.
They may, and who knows, they may be doing some packet shaping to protect their network. They may be doing some other stuff as well. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Because you're going to, as you know, using a lot of upload can actually hurt the download speeds. And it may be that depending on how the cell tower is connected, the backhaul, they may not want a lot of upstream traffic because it may hinder the downstream traffic, right?
People aren't uploading a boatload of data. So.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. You would assume on a cell network, I might see some trickles of photos, but what you don't want is somebody uploading their entire photo library on the cell network, right? So you might in fact slow that down. I'm just looking at the ultra capacity I got on T-Mobile when I said I got 503 down. I only got 15 up. So so it's really very asymmetric as well. That's another issue. You could run a speed test and see.
Wi-Fi, but Wi-Fi, depending on where you are, you can get 30 or 40.
Right. Yeah, Wi-Fi should be fine. Yeah, I don't know what my Wi-Fi is, but I'm sure it's pretty fast. It's interesting because
some clients don't want to give their Wi-Fi password, and they don't have a guest password.
Right.
Which I always tell them. Give a guest password and then delete it when the person's gone. But
yeah, I know. Let me just test my because I was surprised that the iPhone 12 can get to 500 megabyte download. That's pretty remarkable. On
the
on T-Mobile, on T-Mobile.
Yeah,
on cell. Yeah, that's T-Mobile's new mid-band 5G. It's funny, I'm on Wi-Fi here, and it's gigabit. Well, actually, it's 10 gigabit Wi-Fi, but it's only downloading 329. It is uploading 362.
Wow.
So that's a Wi-Fi issue. So it looks like that I actually have more throughput on the cell radio than I do on the Wi-Fi radio. That's wild.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi, I get 400 down, but sometimes I get 390 up. So it's pretty symmetrical.
That's nice.
But, cell towers aren't like that.
No, they're very asymmetrical. Yeah. So you have symmetric internet at home, though. That's interesting.
Pretty much. It's Frontier. It used to be Fios, but it's Frontier.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Has Frontier improved? Because they were terrible for a while.
Oh, they were horrible at first. I cussed them out so much for the first year, and they thought they were the kings. But I said, you bought the infrastructure. You bought the customers. You need to treat them like the Verizon customers.
Well, it sounds like they're better, yeah?
Oh, yeah, they're definitely better. Definitely better. Good. I've had, 5.9 uptime. I've had very little.
Oh, that's good.
I had one failure on the exterior of the access point. That was it.
That ain't bad. Comcast goes out every 6 months for me, so that's not unusual. Michael, got to run. Pleasure talking to another Dr. Nerd.
Doctors and nerddom.
We'll see you. We'll see you soon. Take care.
All right, bye.
It's time to disco dance our way into America's hearts and minds with Dick Debartolo, Mad Magazine's maddest writer, and our very own Gizmo wizard. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how are you doing, pal?
I am very well. Has spring sprung in Disneyland?
It has sprung for maybe 5 hours. It's 54 today.
Whew.
And I believe 17 tonight.
Yeah. Oops.
So we have some Arctic air heading this way.
Here comes the polar vortex.
Yeah, exactly.
We're in a small. Before you get to your gizmo.
Yeah.
Last night I had dinner with Mike Elgin, old friend. You probably remember Mike.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The three of us are in a small fraternity with some other people like Lance Ulanoff, who have presented gizmos and gadgets on live with Regis and Kelly, Regis and Kathy Lee.
Yes.
Lance is doing it now with Kelly and the other guy, Greg Kinnear, or whoever it is. And no, it's not him. It's Ryan Gosling. No, it's not him.
Yes.
Kelly and Ryan. Some guy named Ryan.
Yes.
Anyway, you did it in the Kathy Lee era.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
and so did Mike.
years.
So did Mike. Yeah. For how many years? How many years?
I did it at least 5 years.
Yeah. I remember they called me after 9/11 because nobody wanted to come to New York, and they wanted to talk about gizmos and gadgets shortly after 9/11. I think it was October. And I said, well, I'll come out. And that was the beginning of a 10-year relationship. I did quite a few until Regis retired. Yeah, Regis retired, and then so did I thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, small fraternity, and another member of the Brotherhood I had dinner with
Absolutely.
So Dick joins us every week with a gizmo or a gadget. You've run out of CES gizmos, I think. Yes?
Yeah, okay. I have Party Light. Now, I think you should get a Party Light.
I get everything you talk about, Dick.
Okay, because
I got the upside-down French press. I got 60 different clip-on lamps.
Right.
What do you got?
Okay, so Party Light is a way to turn any room
into a party.
Into a party, okay?
All right.
What I love about this, Leo, is that it runs USB, but has a built-in battery. So Dennis and I went down to the park.
This is like those disco projectors that you grew up with.
Yes. The thing is, it's only $45, but it gives off great laser show.
By the way, and there is a video on Dick's website of him in the dark at the park, all bundled up with his Mad Magazine baseball cap on. Are you going to throw a party in Central Park?
Well, no, Riverside Park.
Riverside Park.
No. Right. You know, I don't like to attract attention, but when I walk along with this, it's because the Mad Hat's wearing out. People don't know Mad anymore.
Not anymore, but now.
So now, when they say, "What is that?" I go,
"It's a laser light show in my pocket." Holy cow!
So it runs 6 to 7 hours, depending on how many lasers you're using on batteries. And then you go back, and it takes about 6 hours to recharge it. The thing is, Leo, there's a big evergreen tree in Riverside Park, and Dennis and I said, I don't know why they don't decorate that for Christmas. Well, if you put one of these laser lights on it, it glows enough that you could get away with not decorating a Christmas tree if you just put one of these at the base shining up on the branches. It's really a fun idea. And then the best is when it is totally dark. When I took it down into the basement here in my building. Also, it's great if your house is a mess. You have all the
turn
lights
out the lights. Yeah.
Turn out the lights, and you don't have to clean anything. You just walk around.
So it's. I'm watching your video. It seems like it's got a lot of different patterns. It's just
according to the company, it has 128 different patterns.
Oh, okay.
And you pick them out in 3 categories. And then if you wanted to react to music, there are 3 sound categories.
Oh, so you really can have a party.
Yeah.
Oh.
And as I said, you know, when I was doing the disco houseboat like 30 years ago, when I would go to MGM stage lighting, something like this would have been
thousands.
1,000.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I just did.
Well, and the
LED
other thing is, you'd plug it in, and the entire city of New York would go.
Yes, you're exactly right. This is 6 watts. The whole show.
Because LEDs are so efficient. Yeah. But what's battery life like?
6 hours. 6 to 7 hours. 6 hours if you're using just the lasers or the spotlights. 7 hours if you're using both.
They should build this as the home rave kit. You could have your own rave. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much is it?
$46.
Wow. If I could think of a use for it, I might get it. But what am I going to do with this thing? I'm going to have a party?
When you have audiences back again, just have this on a wall because it looks fascinating. It gives people something to look at.
It's bright enough even if lights are on that you can kind of see it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, okay. I have the studio lights on and you can... Oh, actually, my head makes a great...
Is it on right now?
Screen.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
You've got some sort of disease. What? You better quick go to the doctor.
I have Lyme disease, Leo, and it's
green disease.
Lyme green disease.
Holy cow. That is very cool effect.
Now you're going to buy one?
And I should mention that Dick has his cranium specially prepared to be a screen for this.
Yes, yeah. Well, Myra salmonized it right before the show.
Little carnauba wax, and you're
exactly.
set. You're set.
I'm set.
Wow, look at that. That is kind of fun. All right, well, there's a link on Dick's website, gizwiz.biz. Click the button, the blue button with my face that says the GizWiz visits the tech guy, and you'll see that and everything else he's mentioned on the show, including, yes, I bought it, the little inexpensive waterproof Bluetooth speaker from last week. I did not buy the Sea-Doo boat.
Okay.
But I did buy the upside-down French press.
The speaker went down in price, Leo. It's $14 now.
Wow.
$14.44. Wow. I know.
Wow.
Don't worry. I also paid $18. So.
I also did not buy the color-changing BMW. So that's another product
okay.
you mentioned that I did not buy. GizWiz.biz. When you go there is another button to click. Well, there's quite a few. You can see what the products Dick mentions on his regular appearances on ABC's World News Now. But you can also see the What the Heck Is It contest. A bunch of green, it looks like washers for a garden hose. I don't think that's what they are, but it's a close-up. You look at it. What is it? What could it be? You identify it, and you're in the drawing for up to 6 autographed Mad magazines for the right answer, up to 12 for the best wrong answers.
And your magazines are in the mail, the April issue.
Oh, look at this. It's a dog balloon. What is it?
It's Superman's dog. It's a movie coming out soon.
There's a movie called Superman's Dog?
No, it's about Superman's dog. I think it's called Superman Pets. I'm not even sure what it is.
Super Pets. Well, if
Super
Superman
Pets.
had a dog,
I think it is Super Pets.
he would be able to
wait.
fly.
Micah Sargent said, I'm buying one of those lights. So there, I sold one.
Micah's going to have a party in his... Oh, and by the way, with the what the heck is it, you mustn't be getting a lot of right answers. You've put in a hint. You use both at the same time.
I didn't want people that when you buy this, you buy the two of them. So I didn't want people to say, well, you just... Yeah,
they come as a pair.
Exactly.
They come as a pair. Yes. GizWiz.biz. He also has Mad Magazine memorabilia, Match Game memorabilia for sale, Gizmos Ahoy for those of you who like to boat, because he's a big avid boater, all at his website, gizwiz.biz. And, of course, you and Chad Johnson do the GizWiz podcast at gizwiz.tv every week now, and it's... What year?
Leo, starts 17 years in 10 days.
17th year. That you've beat Friends, you beat Seinfeld. This is an amazing record.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dickie D.
Okay, buddy, take care.
Thanks to all of you for joining me. That's it for the Tech Guy. I'll see you next time. I'm Leo Laporte. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.